Hello everybody and welcome to my video Getting Tidier. I hope you're well. So you can see it's a bit cloudy here in England and I've been working really hard to get on top of the washing and everything since coming back from holiday. So I did a load of washing yesterday and this is another load of washing. So this is the second load. So just trying to get it all dry because although it's very cloudy, it has actually been quite bright and sunny. Also in this video you'll see a couple of pictures of where I've got lots of things from holiday on the sofas that all need to be sorted out, and I do a quick tidy up of the lounge. Then you'll see me working in the kitchen and keeping on top of the kitchen just to maintain that. And then you'll see some videos from today. Again, more work in the kitchen, more work with the washing, getting a load of washing in and more washing out. I've got a couple of really short videos from the garden where I've cut the grass today and sorted out some of the stuff with my woodpile, and then another load of washing. Sorry, I had to stop recording for a bit because I thought I was going to have a bit of a coughing fit. It's really weird, this cough. When I first got this sort of flu-y thing where I was in bed for a few days, if you remember, that was a couple of months ago, well, it feels like ages ago. But I had the cough, and then the cough sort of went, and then the cough came back, and then the cough went, and then while I was on holiday, it's come back again. I've also noticed it seemed to be triggered more if I eat chocolate. So there's a message there, isn't there? I had some Milka chocolate when I was on holiday, which is, you know, sort of hazelnut and milk based. I usually really like that when I go on holiday to anywhere in Europe. But this time, it didn't taste as nice and it really made me cough. And the following morning, I was like coughing constantly. So maybe it's something that I need to avoid. So it's funny how quite a few people have said about going on holiday, the prep work from before, trying to make all your house tidy and ready before you go on holiday. And then when you come back, a few people have said, oh, it's so much hassle. The big thing for me, though, is now travelling in the big airports because there's like so much to do before you go. I love travelling, but I can understand these people who just don't want to put up with all the stuff that you have to do, and some of the airports are just crazy. You can see in these photographs where I've got various piles of things in the lounge, and then last night I just decided to do a quick tidy round. So you'll see that I sort of moved the sofa back in place. I've taken my daughter's guide blanket out, so that I have got about 20 badges that all need to be sewn on, so that's going to keep me busy. So I put her sewn basket away and got my sewn basket out. And even though I cleaned underneath the sofa before holiday, there seems to be all dust all piled around there. Take the plates through, tidy up some bits and bobs which just fallen on the floor which shouldn't be there. Couple of laptops and devices that are left out that need to be put away. And I always think it makes a really big difference when all the cushions are just plumped up and put back. It just makes everything look so much tidier. I've got a library book there on the sofa that I need to take back. I haven't read it. I finished reading it. I've got about half of the book left to read. It was a pretty good book. Weird book, but it was pretty good. But I've not finished it, and now it's overdue. So I keep looking at it and thinking, am I going to finish it, or do I need to take it back? So I just got the sewing box out in order to sew some of the badges on when my daughter's in bed. There's so many. One of the other guide leaders said to me, oh, you can get her to do it. But to be honest, they're so difficult to sew, I nearly lose my thumb in the process. It'd be really hard for her. So a lot of the bags, all the sort of bags from holiday, like the little gifts and so on, they were all put on the sofa, and I decided, well, we don't need to take up space there, so that's why I moved them back onto the floor. I got some generally things that could be used for people. There's a couple of nice tins with like waffles. I got some mini gherkins and a few other things. And then you can see the kitchen where all the plates have been dumped. and all that needs to be tidied up and sorted out. So this was from lunch and from dinner. So I did stories last night because we bought this new book. I bought a book from Efteling, and it's got all the sort of European fairy stories, but many of which really not become particularly popular in England. Stories that we didn't know. I mean, you've got the really well-known ones, haven't you? Like Rumpelstiltskin and Snow White, Cinderella. But there are also some unusual ones that we never knew. Because if you've got so many fairy tales talked about in Efteling, I got the book. So I read some of her new book, and then I came downstairs and my husband was working. So I thought, right, I'm going to sort out the kitchen. So there was some stuff to do with the washing, put another load on. And I took the chance and left the load on the line outside, and thankfully it didn't rain overnight, which was good. So it was all dry this morning. And then I just thought I'd get some washing up done. Excuse me with this cough. How are you? Some of you had bad coughs, didn't you, and have been unwell. Have you managed to shift them now? Are you all feeling better? I hope so, as we head off into spring. Nobody wants germs and coughs and colds when it comes into summertime. There was quite a lot for me to do here because I had frying pans and different things to wash up. My husband did dinner last night, and he did one of my favourites, Bombay potatoes. He does a great job with them. They're really, really nice. So I just wanted to read out some of the comments from people on my last video. As usual, people have put some really helpful and kind comments on my posts, which really means a lot to me. So in my last post, you saw that machine to make the candy canes in different shapes and different flowers and so on. And a couple of people commented about that, how good it looked. I mean, what I would say is, it's obviously not very healthy, but my daughter, I feel, goes without so much. She never ever complains with food about what she can and what she can't have. She's just very accepting of it all. But sometimes I look at her face when we have to check the ingredients, and I just think, oh, please, please let this be okay for her. I mean, we do eat in because when she was little, we'd go to a restaurant and she'd have a lunchbox, and it was okay. But now she's older, it's the element of sometimes the restaurants are funny, but if they're not funny, it's the fact that now at 11 years old, and she's got her lunchbox with her, say, rice, beans, carrot and chicken, and she sees, someone ordering chips, someone's ordering a burger, someone getting ice cream. I'm just not, she doesn't complain, but I'm not prepared to do that to her. It is hard when you go on holiday with other people, I think, with that sort of thing, because my mother and father-in-law really enjoy eating out. They love that as part of their holiday, and I do understand that. That used to be part of my holiday, trying restaurants, trying different foods. But things change, and certainly that's been a change for us. And so on the last day, I could really tell that my mother and father-in-law wanted to eat out, and we sort of said, they said, well, we'll just speak to the restaurant and they'll have to let her bring her food along. And I said to my mother-in-law, that isn't just about that though. She's 11 years old, and for us to be ordering loads of things that she loves enjoying, she loves a barbecue, she loves chips, that it's tricky. I said, so I did say, how would you feel if you were going out for dinner and everyone else was having whatever they wanted off the menu, and you brought along your lunchbox with your rice, beans, carrot and chicken? And what's hard is she just doesn't reply. She just is silent. I don't know, it's hard. Who knows what she's thinking. But I have to advocate for my daughter, and I didn't feel comfortable in that situation going ahead. So in the end, we found somewhere which was very sort of relaxed and open, and we got different things. And the funny thing was, as I mentioned yesterday, the meal really wasn't very nice. So I think my daughter was quite pleased. She had her chicken that Daddy had cooked her, and she was very pleased with that. Karen said about the tulips, and I'm so pleased to read this. I wasn't aware of this history. She says, because Karen's from Canada, and she was saying about the Tulip Festival, which is from May the 11th to the 20th, not far away. But she said that the Dutch royal family stayed there during the war, and as a thank you, they sent millions of bulbs. I thought that was really lovely to read. I didn't know about that. And then Bluebird said that was one of her favourite videos, and that she really liked to see the pictures of my vacation, and she'd like to go to some of those places someday. She also said what a pain it was a charity shop couldn't take my bags. I know, tell me about it. Very frustrating. But the good news is that this Sunday I'm getting rid of the 3 bags that are in my haul that I'm saving for the Italian teacher that's got the baby. So that's good. Laura Mitchell said, thanks for sharing your trip and photos with us. Tulips are my absolute favourite flowers. And we went through Holland very briefly on our European tour in 1975 when she was 15. Wow, that's amazing. How lucky to have a European tour. Super. And then also other people said about visiting Holland. Andrea, she said about how she was in Holland as a little girl. And her dad was in the Air Force. And that's interesting because actually my father-in-law, the reason why we knew about Efteling was because my father-in-law was stationed in Germany and took his daughter, my husband's sister, to Efteling. I'm sorry, I want to cough all the time. I'm not quite sure. I've got a tickle. But then she went on to say about other places that she'd visited Anne Frank's house, and she visited the mountains where Sound of Music was taped. Wow, and then about the Rhine. And do you know, it's such a coincidence because I'd love to go to Anne Frank's house. When my daughter's a few years older, I will take her. The Sound of Music is one of my all-time greatest films. I love it. I mean, goodness me, I've watched it so many times, maybe 50 times. And I've been to Austria, but I've never been to the mountains where that film was filmed, and I'd love to. And then Andrea mentions the River Rhine as well. And can you believe when I was in junior school, we had to do we had a subject called Topic. And I loved it because you did all these like workbooks and created like on all these coloured paper, all these different pictures. And one term, the whole topic was the Rhine. And that just something struck a chord with me, the magic of that river and the castles and just everything just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed magical, I guess. So it's been one of my dreams to go on a Rhine cruise. So maybe one day I'll do that. But it's funny, those 3 things that Andrea mentioned, all of which are things that mean something to me. And then a number of other people said, thank you for sharing the holiday pictures. So, you know, you're very welcome. Thank you for your support and staying with me even while I was on holiday. And then the video that went up today, it was only a short video, but the comments, again, about the tulips. Nikki Ross said, how lucky you are to see them in bloom. I know, it's just incredible. The time that we chose to go to Efteling is like the perfect time to see the tulips. We were really excited about that. And then I had a couple of people who know about Holland or who live in Holland. 0570 Dev said, welcome in Holland. Welcome to Holland. Glad you enjoyed it. The details you saw in the Efteling are mainly from Anton Pieck. Okay, thank you for that. Next thing I'll do is Google and have a little look about that. Laura commented to say it was great how my thought process has changed since decluttering. Erica Lucas started her decluttering journey because she loved the simple serenity of the vacation home, as well as how few items of clothing they really needed for a week. This is so true. Do you know, me and my husband have talked about this because when we go on holiday, we usually stay in like an open plan apartment. It's got 2 bedrooms and there's everything there that you need. And I think that, don't you think this is part of, what's the word, this sort of, the hamster wheel that everybody's on, the strive to have more, the strive to have a bigger house, where really we could sell up, buy an two-bed apartment. As long as I had a garden, I would need a garden. Yeah, and you just don't need the space and all the stuff that you think you do. Carolyn said, when I think of Holland, I think of windmills, wooden shoes and tulips. Do you know, we were sitting having a drink and lunch outside of the new church in Delft, and a man walked past with clogs. And for a minute, I thought he was going to start singing an instrument, but no, he was a workman, and he was wearing these amazing clogs. I was quite excited to see someone really wearing them. And then Kieran89, happy to see you enjoy the Netherlands. Also to see how you see it from a different nationality, like a different perspective. Kieran89, thank you for commenting. I'm guessing you are from the Netherlands. And I don't know if you've commented before my video. So thank you for commenting. It's lovely we've got a few people from Holland who've seen this latest video. So if you were wondering what I was just doing in the video, my grass has got some quite big weeds. So I was going round and digging some of the weeds out before I cut them. Because otherwise you end up cutting the tops of the weeds off and it all looks very green and the weeds come back in a vengeance. So you can see there's quite a lot. This is the first cut of the year. There's quite a lot of grass that needs to be cut, and then I need to do the edges, although I didn't have time to do the edges today. And you can see how windy it is. Really windy how everything got dry. I'm just hoping it doesn't rain overnight as well. So I cut all this grass, and then I cut the grass behind the sort of the bushes in the middle of the garden. I managed to do quite a lot outside today, and it was warm. As you can see, I've got a t-shirt on. So we've obviously brought some of the beautiful sunny weather back with us. Also, I'm really pleased, and it's great timing, that the 3 pots that I planted up, probably January time, I got these really lovely bulbs, tulip bulbs, from my mum for Christmas. And I planted them all up, and I think she thought I was a bit late in planting them. But I've come back from holiday and they are doing fantastically well. And they're going to be flowering soon. They've all got pretty frilly edges. Excuse me. So I'm pleased that they're all coming up after seeing the wonderful tulips in Holland. So I cut all the grass here as well. And also my daughter and I, we could hear baby birds tweeting. So we were trying to find out where the noise was coming from and where the nest is. And also we put some mealworms out for them. So that's what we were spending quite a long time doing. And then my daughter set up the camera, the wildlife camera, so we could watch them. So that was nice. So I managed to do quite a lot inside, quite a lot outside as well. Because next up, I then sorted out my wood store. I've got an awful lot of wood that still needs to be cut up. I need my husband to do that because I'm just not strong enough to use the chainsaw. He can't do too much of it at one time because of his back. But here I'm putting all the things back that I didn't use this winter just gone, and then I transfer loads of pieces of wood that were cut up from 2 years ago, which will be ready for winter this year. And when that created a space for me to put the I can't think what it's called, wheelbarrow, to put the wheelbarrow in. So that was good. So that was much tidier. So you can see I'm filling all the wood store up. Then I do a bit more grass cutting and a bit more garden sorting. And then I finish the video with doing some more washing. And the other thing I just wanted to say is I managed to put loads of stuff in the bin while I was outside. There were some plastic pots that were cracked and some other bits and pieces that just needed to go in the bin. So I took great pleasure in half filling up the green bin ready to be collected tomorrow. Well, I hope you're well. I hope you've had a lovely day. Thank you again for your ongoing support and comments and likes and etc. etc. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!